I want to talk to you about one of the most common issues that can trip people up when they're performing the installation of one of our secret doors, or any door for that matter. And that has to do with the walls. People like to think that their walls are perfectly flat and also perfectly plumb, but they almost never are, and when they're not, it can create a big problem for installing a door. Let me show you what I mean. Here's one of our secret doors. I'm going to hold it right now. You can see here we have the door's frame, which does not move, and then this is the wall. In your house, this would be like the sheetrock. So when you go to install this door, before you drive all the screws, you need to take a level like this. And you need to stick it right here like this. And you look at that bubble, and that bubble has to be dead nuts in the middle. And a bubble level, by the way, is not a very precise instrument. It's not as precise as we would like it to be anyway. So if the bubble is even a little bit not in the dead center, you have to make it in the dead center. And you have to do that not only this way, but you have to turn the bubble level like this and do it this way. Because if the frame is like this, that's going to be a problem. And you have to do it not only on the strike side, but you also have to repeat the procedure over here on the hinge side. A lot of times what will happen is that the opening is not perfectly plumb, like the 2x4 that makes up the opening is at an angle or something like that. And so what you have to do is you have to put shims in here. Not we're on the front of the door, but you usually put them in the back side. And you put in shims between the stud that makes up the opening and the door frame to shim this out, or put it on the other side to shim it the other way, to make sure that the two sides are perfectly plumb. Not like this, not like this, they both have to be perfectly plumb. And then there's this other issue that plagues door installations, which is people want to believe that the four corners of their wall are all in the same plane, the plane of the wall. But the truth is that most walls are not perfectly flat, and so they're usually not in the same plane. So the way that I explain this is kind of like having a chair with 3 legs versus one with 4 legs. If you have a chair with 3 legs, it will never ever wobble because 3 points constitute a plane. But if you have a chair with 4 legs, it can very easily wobble. And here we have 4 corners, and they're usually not in the exact same plane if you push them all tight up against the wall. So what you have to do is you start on the hinge side. You've already checked that everything is nice and plumb this way. And you screw in the bottom left corner on the hinge side, and you screw in the top corner on the hinge side, and you check it again. The hinge side is nice and perfectly plumb in every direction. And then you go over here, and as soon as you screw in either the bottom or the top, let's say you screw in the bottom, now you have a plane that's created by the 3 corners of the door's frame. So whatever the wall is doing up here, you have to ignore. You have to make sure that the door's frame is in the same plane as the 3 other corners of the door. And that can mean that there ends up being a space up here. That's what you have to have. If you need to, you can cheat one of the other corners, like you can repeat the process and you can cheat a corner out here, which will bring it in here a little bit. There are things that you can do, but you have to ignore what the wall is doing if the wall is not perfectly planar. You have to make sure that the door's 4 corners are all in the same plane, and then you should have a successful installation.